Welcome back. Well, a lot of you folks out there have been asking me to discuss what's happening in Arizona concerning voter fraud. Matter of fact, last night we read a viewer mail, and I promised we would get somebody on the program tonight to discuss it for an update, to let you know what is going on. So check this out. Law enforcement in Arizona have raided a nonprofit related to a case of ballot harvesting. Ooh. Ballot harvesting that was revealed, of course, as we all know, in the movie 2,000 Mules, which we discuss here on this program. Now, in Yuma County, Arizona, the nonprofit Bienestar's membership coordinator, Gloria Torres, was served with search warrants at her nonprofit office. That we know for sure. These are legal documents. Yuma County Board of Supervisor Chairman Tony Reyes confirmed officers confiscated her phone, and then also they've gone to her home address to look for things. We're told that Torres, who was served with the search warrants, currently serves on the San Luis City Council and is also a board member for the Gadsden Elementary School District. Last year, she faced a recall effort for having ties to a board member named Guillermino Fuentes, who faced, get this, felony charges for ballot trafficking leading up to the 2020 election. Again, these are all court documents. They're all out there. You can find them very easily. If any journalists at any of the other networks would like to actually do their damn jobs. Now, we're told that the Fuentes trial was canceled a few days after 2,000 Mules was released. However, on May 11th, the Yuma County Sheriff's Office then released a statement on more voter fraud cases. Okay. The press release read, as of March 2022, Yuma County Sheriff's Office has 16 voting registration open cases. All relevant evidence is being formally documented by the Yuma County Recorder's Office and further investigated by the Yuma County Sheriff's Office. Some examples of voter fraud Yuma County is currently seeing are the following: impersonation fraud, false registrations, duplicate voting, and fraudulent use of the good old absentee mail-in ballot. Wow. Gary Snyder is a candidate for Arizona State Senate in District 23, but he also has been heavily involved and fighting for election integrity in Arizona ever since the 2020 election. And I want to welcome Gary to the program. Gary, I believe, and get me on the right track if I'm off here. Did we meet over a year ago in Yuma, Arizona, when I was down there with my crew doing a story on the border crisis and the invasion and what Yuma was dealing with? And we were there interviewing the sheriff and the mayor, and you came up and approached my team and said, something stinks in Yuma County, and it's election fraud. So you've been looking at this for almost 2 years now.
That is correct, Dan.
Okay, thought so. So we've got the sheriff admitting we've got search warrants served. We've got these folks that are involved with nonprofit groups being served. What do you know about the Fuentes case getting canceled right around the time 2,000 Mules came out? I thought there was evidence against this guy.
Yes, we were actually in court the day of. She obviously at the time was pleaded not guilty and wanted to take it to trial. We were blessed to meet True the Vote and Dinesh at the premiere in Las Vegas for the 2,000 Mules. Mm-hmm. After we got done with the 2,000 Mules, a few days later, she changed her plea 2 days before her court. So instead of going to trial and saying not guilty, the plea itself, it's changed. She took the plea bargain for the Attorney General that now officially is June 2nd, which is this upcoming Thursday, that she'll be in trial just to say, I plead guilty, I take the plea.
Wow. Okay, so and now there's two different cases here, two different ladies. We have Torres, right? And then we have Fuentes. You're talking about the Fuentes case. She took a plea deal. Torres is still being investigated.
Correct. So originally there was two cases previously. So Alma Juarez, which is the neighbor of Guillermo Fuentes, she was indicted and she took a plea bargain and she is now the state witness that turned over on Guillermo Fuentes. So Fuentes was an elected official, was also the ex-mayor of San Luis, Arizona. She was the one that was caught with her hand in the cookie jar.
What party affiliation, real quick? I mean, she ran for mayor. You have to claim a party. Just wondering, what party?
Democrat.
Okay, just curious. One more time. What party are these folks affiliated with?
Democrat.
Okay, keep going. Sorry, Gary.
So from there, like I said, she had a year and a half of high-paid, high-crimes lawyers out of Phoenix. So she had a total of 3 lawyers plus a local one, all paid by the DNC to stay away from this, so it's not to the public. But when the 2,000 Mules came out, it kind of just broke the DNC. They just said, you want, let it go. We're not going to keep spending money for it to be already out there. So 2,000 Mules, true to the vote, they put a lot of pressure on elected officials, a lot of law enforcement that weren't willing to stick up. And it counts legislatures here in Arizona. So I give them the thanks for the push, because, they put their time, their resources, budget of financials that our community didn't have to help secure more information and help with the joint task force to get these ladies. And there's much more to come.
Yeah, I bet. Well, just judging from what Yuma County Sheriff, great sheriff you got down there, by the way. We loved hanging out with him on the border. 16 search warrants have been issued, and he put the statement out saying multiple investigations are ongoing. So this does go further than just these 2-3 ladies we're talking about. So I'm going to get the head count again. All right, the neighbor already took a deal. Another one's case got canceled, and she took a deal, and Torres is outstanding. So that's 3 ladies, 3 Democrats, 3 people that have either been in elected office or working for a nonprofit, supposed to get the vote out. All 3 most likely guilty. We know 2 of them for sure because 2 of them took plea deals. And we're talking about voter fraud, using absentee ballots, fake either ID stuff. What are the other allegations and charges here that they're making down in Yuma connected to all of these investigations? Because I think I read 3 or 4.
Bribery, forgery. I mean, the list goes on. On top of that, evading taxes for the IRS, paying people cash. So it's a pretty big one.
Yeah. This is one county, folks. And if this is just 3 ladies, okay, I'd say sure, not enough to change. But if you watch the film and you see how a few people in this county and a few people in this county and a few people in that county throwing in a few dozen here, a few dozen there, all of a sudden can add up to, what was Arizona? 11,730 or something, or 10,730. I know it was around 11,000 was the difference between Biden and Trump. So this is just Yuma County we're discussing with Gary Snyder, and where cops have decided to actually investigate because politicians didn't stand in their way. But we know in Maricopa County and in places in Georgia and Michigan, Wisconsin, Gary, they've stood in the way of these investigations.
Correct.
Yeah.
We as a people need to stand up. I was just a regular person. I learned from a gentleman named David Latta. He's been fighting for 22 years. They consider him a conspiracy theorist. But everything he learned, everything he told me, he brought it down to the T. That's how we were available to catch these women in the act of legal and the 2020 primary, where unfortunately the Attorney General and the FBI had the information, and what they did, they've ransomed the presidential election to wait and compare the fraud from the primary to the general. Instead of stopping it right on the spots, they wanted to see what's the difference between the general and the primary.
Gary, I'm out of time, but real quick, if folks want to learn more about his bid for state senate in Arizona, obviously election integrity is the top of his platform. It is Snyder4Arizona.com. Gary Snyder, best of luck in the run. Appreciate you staying on top of this. Take care.
Thank you, Dan.
Yep.